Cool. Welcome, everyone. If you'd like to just chuck in the chat where you're in from, what startup you're a part of, if you're a part of a startup, and feel free as we go along to also put questions in the Q&A little box if you see the box, and we'll be going through questions as we go along. So hoping to make this quite interactive. So please do, chuck your thoughts in, chuck your questions in. And yeah, introduce yourself in the chat if you'd like to. Okay, let's get kick started. Welcome everyone. I'm Lilia Alexander from Territory 3 Kiwi Learning Pad Reimagined, and we're joined by Shivana from Kea Connect. Now Kea Connect is a service relatively new, of getting out and about in the community, and Shivana is working to help connect business owners in New Zealand to the right people overseas. So I'll let Shivana do a better intro on the Connect, but glad to have her on. And yeah, pass over to you to do a bit of an intro.
Thanks, Lilia. Thank you for having me. So yeah, as Lilia mentioned, I'm the Global Connections Manager at Kea, and that means that I look after our Kea Connect service, which I will obviously talk in a bit more detail later on. A bit about myself. I've been with Kea for 2 years now. Before that, I worked in internal recruitment. Before that, I was a lawyer. So a bit of a mixed background, but that path, I suppose, led me to Kea, which is awesome because I get to work with amazing founders and entrepreneurs every day, which is a pretty cool job.
That really is. I would also agree with that. I think that's what we do as well.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of Kea, Kea dates back to 2001 when Sir Stephen Tindall and David Teese, who are our founders, recognised that there are a lot of Kiwi heading overseas, and for New Zealand being geographically isolated as we are, they kind of recognised that our offshore Kiwi are going to be crucial in order for New Zealand to remain globally connected. So that's kind of how Kea came about. And 20 years on, we continue to nurture a diverse community of Kiwi overseas, and we, ensure that we are connecting that Kiwi into New Zealand for the good of New Zealand. We, beyond connections, we love to ensure that we're showcasing the amazing and significant opportunities that there are for businesses and individuals to connect offshore, but also just highlighting the amazing Kiwi export businesses that we get to work with, and the incredible Kiwi who are offshore doing amazing things.
Awesome. Cool. So you didn't just freeze just then, did you? Was that mine?
Oh, did I? Oh.
No, that's cool now. Sorry, just mine. Awesome. No, thanks so much for the intro. And I'd be curious to, find out, so what does your normal day-to-day kind of look like, and what kind of startups or businesses do you see coming through to chat with you?
Yeah, so with Kea Connect, in terms of the service itself, Kea Connect is a free service that Kea provides to New Zealand businesses who are looking to export overseas or who are already exporting and looking to grow and scale. So we help those businesses by connecting them in with our offshore Kiwi who are industry experts, or who are other founders and entrepreneurs who have been on a similar journey, who can provide key market intelligence, advice and guidance that's really going to help that business shape their export strategy. So in terms of my day-to-day, that's it. It's, speaking with businesses, understanding what their challenges are, understanding what their needs are, in terms of the markets that they're looking to expand into, and then finding the right people in our community across those markets who can help. In terms of the kind of businesses that we work with businesses across all industries, across different sizes as well. It doesn't really matter how small or big you are. It doesn't matter if you've never exported before, or if you have already exported and you're looking to scale. As long as you're serious about your export goals, and as long as you're all serious about exploring export opportunities, we can help you. So yeah, it's a diverse range of businesses that we work with, which is incredible for me because I get to learn a lot about industries that I've, never really tapped into before, and hear about the amazing, innovative, services and products that our Kiwi businesses are, creating and wanting to put out there on the global stage. And in terms of our process with Kea Connect, like I mentioned, it's very much ascertaining what the business is looking to achieve overseas, understanding what are their priority markets, what are the key gaps in knowledge that they have as they look to embark into that market. And then from there, it's a matter of finding people who can help address those challenges.
Oh, awesome. And what does your team kind of look like? So you'll be the front-facing person, but do you also have the people behind you that you connect in with?
Yeah. No, absolutely. So yes, I am the key point of contact for Kea Connect. So any new business that comes into our community, in most cases it will be me that has that first direct contact with them, and will work with them to clarify what their needs are. In terms of next steps from there, I very much have the team's wider support on that. We're a small team. We have 9 people based in New Zealand and 3 offshore. But across the team, we are continuously speaking with incredible people, both in New Zealand and internationally, who are keen and willing to engage with New Zealand businesses. So I definitely have their support in terms of finding the right people. Key to this are our regional directors who are based in our key markets offshore. So we have a regional director based in the US, in the UK, and in China. And they are really key in terms of being an on-the-ground Kea resource there to help businesses thrive. So whenever requests come through, I will often, reach out to them, and we'll work together to find the right people to connect businesses with. But also they are well connected with Kiwi businesses who are established in their markets and have a presence there. And so they work closely independently to kind of, make sure that they're providing more connections and helping them wherever they can.
Cool, perfect. Sounds really great. Just a quick question that's come through. Someone asking who your US person is.
Who our US person? So his name is Gary Fortune. He actually recently started with us. He was back in New Zealand. He came back over COVID, but he's recently relocated back to the US. So he's been with us about a month, I want to say. So he's settling in well. He's having amazing conversations with our community over there, and already hit the ground running in terms of helping Kiwi businesses.
Cool, amazing. And yeah, just to everyone watching, just feel free to do chuck your questions in as well, just because it fits in nicely with what we're talking about. Awesome. Do you have any examples of businesses that you have worked with that you are able to share with how you've helped them grow?
Yeah, sure. So one example would be Carbon Click. And so they help businesses reduce their climate impact. So we first engaged with Carbon Click last year, and that was when they were really working to understand the USA market. So our connections and our work with them was primarily around market validation. And as part of that was connecting them in with key e-commerce retail brands that were in our community who could just have a chat with Carbon Click and discuss what their current thoughts were around climate action, what steps they were taking to reduce their impact, how important climate action was important for their customers and whatnot, to really help them understand their kind of fit and relevance across that target customers. And yeah, one of the connections that we were able to make was to the VP of quite a renowned Kiwi retail brand, who themselves have had great success in entering the USA. So it proved to be quite a good kind of peer-to-peer connection, but also from an expert insights level connection too. Another example would be Datagate. So they provide a SaaS billing solution for managed service providers. They are very much a global company now, but back when they reached out to us in 2017, they were just starting on their export journey, and as part of that were looking to understand the Australian market, particularly across telco. So we were able to introduce them to the former CEO of Telstra, and that kind of led to further introductions for Datagate, and proved to be, kind of a really key introduction that helped them gain traction when they were early on in their export journey. So yeah, Datagate, I suppose, is a really lovely example of a business that we've been able to follow their journey in terms of, starting the export journey and then becoming a truly global company.
Oh, awesome. Those are some really great examples. Glad to hear those. Question is, how are you different from NZTE and what they provide? And I know we get that too. And yeah, I'm curious your thoughts on that.
Of course. So NZTE are one of our key sponsor partners. So we do have very close working relationships with NZTE. And I'm sure that people on the call who have worked with or who are engaged with NZTE will know they have a very clear tiered level of services that they provide for what they call focus customers and all exporters. So with focus customers, NZTE provide a very intense and amazing level of support, which includes a full suite of services, including in-market access to NZTE sector consultants and business development managers. If you're not a focus customer, that in-market access isn't available. So with Kea Connect, because we help businesses, it doesn't matter what size they are or what, stage they are on the export journey, because we will help with in-market connections. That's a really great way that we can support those other exporters. But in terms of focus customers, there's definitely still scope for Kea Connect to help. And with that, it's more about working closely with the business there and their NZTE relationship manager to really understand what support NZTE are providing, what in-market connections they're able to what in-market connections they're able to provide, and therefore how can we provide a further on the ground perspective to amplify the support that NZTE are providing. So we do get requests in from NZTE for both focus and all export customers. So yeah, we have a pretty good process of working with them on both those different tiers.
Cool, awesome. So we've just answered another question that had come through as well. I've just chucked Shivana's email in the chat. So best way to engage is flick her an email or check out the website, and you can register on the website, where you can also read a bit more about what Kea Connect does. And just touching on that as well, we're all kind of, like you notice there's a couple of different organizations. We've got NZTE, we've got Kea Connect, Territory 3, it used to be Kiwi Learning Pad, but obviously we're kind of changing what we do a little bit since COVID happened. But we all do work together. So we're all kind of complementary organizations or nonprofits. And so, for example, like Territory 3, we're also backed by Sir Stephen Tyndall, which Kea Connect is, and also NZTE. So we're all kind of working together, and that's great because it means if we can't help you, then we can see if Shivana can, or if NZTE can, and around the block, we can all just kind of help each other out, which end goal is helping you grow your business.
Absolutely. And to your point, it's we all share that kind of common goal, and so it is just about figuring out how we can work more closely together to provide a more comprehensive level of support for New Zealand businesses within the ecosystem. And working with Territory 3 and NZTE are great examples of areas where we have slightly different focuses across different businesses and communities, and so there's really a huge scope there to work more closely together and collaborate, like how we're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. Here we are. Cool. A question that's come through from Stephen is, how have you managed to build this global community? What is the value Oh, maybe these are separate questions. Okay, how have you managed to build this global community?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been 20 years since we were founded. So across that time, we have had, amazing people in the Kea team who work really hard to ensure that Kea is available for our offshore community, and that we've grown a presence in New Zealand so that when people in New Zealand do head overseas, they know that we're there to support. So I suppose it's just been, quite organic growth over the past 20 or so years, and through the resources that we provide, be it events internationally or in New Zealand, or content being key resources for businesses, but also individuals who are going overseas. Through that, we've been able to really connect and nurture that diverse community over this time.
Awesome. And then second question from Stephen, what's the value proposition for the international relationships that are providing value back to the local businesses that are engaging with them?
Yeah, I mean, we are very lucky to have such a passionate community who genuinely just want to give back. And I think this kind of spurs from, back when they were heading overseas, they probably received similar level of help and support from other Kiwis. So they know how important it is to have that connection and to have that on the ground insight. So I think, they're really keen to give back. And so, we have members of our community who, very generously give hours of their time to help and help connect in businesses. But, in saying that as well, we have a lot of, people in the business ecosystem who, really looking to engage with businesses on a, advisory level, and investment as well. So there's always opportunity there as well for our community to engage on that, other level. But yeah, it really just comes down to that passion and willingness to support and feel like they're able to give back and help businesses when they first land overseas.
Cool. And then third question, when we talk export, are we including software or is it restricted to physical items?
Including software, absolutely. So we help businesses across all industries and all sectors within those industries, from tech, digital, to consumer goods, to F&B, whatever it might be. Yeah, we definitely do help.
Awesome. We've got a bit more of an in-depth question that might be one for the emails that's come through from a startup looking for legal support in assessing launch for the US. Is that something that you're over?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that would definitely be something we would need to have a further discussion. Yep. But yeah, certainly something that we can look into. We do have people in the legal space over in the US, and our regional director there as well. I'm sure we'll have some ideas. So feel free to flick me an email on my email address that's in the chat. Yeah, happy to discuss.
Cool. Oh, look, Rebecca Freeman, happy to help. She's a US attorney.
There you go.
The power of the community. That's wonderful.
Exactly.
Cool. Another question, are the Kea roles based overseas full-time jobs or a mix of part-time and voluntary basis?
So they are part-time jobs, but in saying that, they're kind of our regional directors are amazing and that they're kind of always online and keen to help. So yeah, they're always flying the Kea flag even when they're not technically working.
Oh, awesome. That's good to hear. Feel free to keep the questions coming in now. We're kind of in a discussion stage of the webinar. So we'd love to hear your thoughts, hear your questions. You can chuck them either in the chat or in the Q&A box. But I'm keeping an eye on both, which is awesome. Cool. Okay, let me just bring this up. And I'm also I'll plug in the link for the Kea Connect website. Let me just.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
You've got the link, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
cool, awesome. So there's the website as well. If anyone wants to have a read through that after the webinar, and see, yeah, if you are keen to engage with Kea Connect, and yeah, you can either register on there or just email Shivana via the email that we've chucked in the chat here.
Yeah, and if you do want more of an understanding of the kind of businesses that we work with, we do have a whole host of case studies on our website, which go into a bit more detail on kind of businesses that we've worked with across different industries, and how we helped them as well, which can just help illustrate more deeply how we work with businesses. And there's also a how-to kind of guide as well, which details a bit more about Kea Connect and our process too, if that is of interest.
Cool. I can see another comment just come through from Rebecca Freeman, offering some more help with US accountants, which is great.
Oh, thank you.
Rebecca.
Awesome.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, if anyone have any more questions, otherwise we might just wrap up early, because I think we've gone through the bulk of what Kea Connect is and how you work with startups and businesses. Yeah. What is the favorite part of your job?
Oh, it honestly is just speaking to people of all walks of life. I've learned so much about different industries, from really deep tech through to broadscaping larger enterprises who are taking over the world. So I think my favorite part is just having those conversations and just continuously being able to learn from the founders in our community, and also our amazing Kiwi offshore, the people that I get to connect these businesses into with, they have amazing experiences. And so just being able to, again, learn from them and, make those connections myself is, yeah, it's amazing.
And what is the most challenging part of your job?
Challenging part. I think, oh gosh, that's a good question. What is the most challenging part of my job? I think probably it would be just ensuring, sometimes when working with businesses, sometimes they may not have a very clarified understanding of what they're looking to do. And they may reach out to Kea and just kind of expect connections to all these people without having a really clarified ask. So sometimes I think just working through that with businesses at the beginning is just really important. And sometimes that takes, a longer time. It's, it's not really challenging, but as long as the business is willing to work with us through that, and they understand that in order to go to our community requesting their help, we do need to give a good understanding of what kind of help they're looking for, and that's really just to ensure that the conversations we facilitate are optimized, and that the business is getting the most out of it, and that those in our community are able to give back in the right way. So yeah, sometimes I suppose there's a little quirk there at the beginning, but I mean, businesses who reach out to us, more often than not, are always happy and very understanding of that. So yeah, it's most times totally fine.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. It's kind of the case of when you make it a really good link with someone overseas, you do need to make sure that it is there's value there for both parties, and that the business is ready for that connection. So that it's a bit of a task on the founder business side, is to make sure you know what you want before going and getting the connection there. Okay, we've got a couple more questions that have just come through in the chat. How does Kea prioritize the support requests?
Sorry, you just cut out there. I missed the part of that sentence.
How does Kea prioritize support requests?
Prioritize them. Well, we kind of have SLAs that we like to meet within the team. So whenever there are new requests that come through, we have a person in the team who manages those requests and gets back to people within 5 working days. So it's it's not really about prioritization. It's just kind of working through the requests as quickly and as comprehensively as we can across the team. And if I feel like there's a lot of work going on and there's a lot of, requests coming through, that's where I can really lean on the wider team, particularly our regional directors offshore. And so we just kind of, diverse and conquer.
Oh, awesome. And do you help with go-to-market strategies in different markets?
Yeah, absolutely. So go-to-market is probably one of the more popular themes that come through in terms of requests into Kea Connect. So yeah, we have a whole host of experts across the globe who can help, whether it's understanding channels to market, whether it's understanding kind of how to raise brand awareness, or whether it's just understanding the consumers and your target consumers. That's certainly something that our community can help with. And again, that can span across all different industries and different markets, across the globe. So yeah, that's absolutely something that we do help with. And yeah, is a very common ask, I suppose, for businesses who are looking to explore new markets.
Cool. And the question is around what the connections with VCs are. Do you have many in your community?
Yeah, we do. So we do have a lot of people in the investment and VC space offshore, particularly in the US and the UK, but also across other key markets too. And they are very happy again to help work with businesses. One thing, we don't go to our community directly asking for funding on behalf of businesses, but we can absolutely connect businesses in with experts who frequently invest in Kiwi businesses or who just are really well connected in that space, who can help businesses understand how to pitch, how to pitch for different markets. Anyone who's gone through that experience will know that when you pitch to New Zealand investors, it's very different to how you might pitch to an investor in the US, say. So that advice can be really crucial for businesses. So we definitely have community experts there who can help and work closely with businesses to help them understand how to best pitch and understand where opportunities in that space will lie.
Cool. And that kind of helps answer the next question from Jane was do you assist with capital raising offshore? So sort of, but not like too directly in terms of the actual capital raising. It's more assistance around the process. Anyone with the right people. Cool. Another question. Are countries doing similar things like Kea, or is Kea unique?
There are definitely countries around the world who have communities that nurture their offshore diaspora, but I think Kea is definitely one of the larger communities in this space, but there definitely are other organizations across the globe that aim to connect their natives into offshore opportunities too.
Cool. And just a thought on going back to the raising capital. At Territory 3, we do a monthly newsletter in which we have a section for startups that are raising capital. So if you are raising capital, do just flick us a line, info@territory3.community, and we can include you in that. And that newsletter does go out to a global community, including VCs who may see that and of course be interested. So just flick us a line if in that position.
Actually, on that as well, we also have are starting to do a similar section with a couple of newsletters that we put out bi-monthly. So we do, if there are businesses who are on the journey of a cap raise, we do like to profile businesses in a similar sense. So yeah, I think definitely between the two of us, we could help get a lot of reach for businesses who are seeking investment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Question is, what's your favorite hero story from the community that you've engaged with?
Oh, a hero story. Gosh.
I know you mentioned 2 case studies before, Carbon Click and Datagate.
Yes.
Do you have one of those or a different one?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, all the connections and all, when we do have these amazing outcomes, they're all kind of hero stories in their own sense. But there is another business that does come to mind, which is Rocket Global. So they produce a variety of miniature apples. And when they were looking to really nail the USA market, they reached out to us, and we were able to connect them in with a few different suppliers, but one of the key introductions was into Walmart, and that led to securing a relationship with Walmart. And since then, Rocket have sold out every season in the USA, and they have told us that that connection into Walmart and that distribution through Walmart is a key part of that. So I suppose that's a really nice, really clear, tangible outcome that, makes us really happy, and it's very rewarding to hear. So, and that is another case study that we have on our website too, if you wanted to read a bit more about how we work with Rocket.
That is awesome. That's really cool to see that kind of come from the connection that you've made.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Cool. Any other questions? Just chuck them in, and we can keep going. Cool. How has COVID and the lack of travel impacted the way that you operate, and has it?
In terms of Kea and how we operate, we are very lucky that a lot of our work can be done online. So in terms of how we work, when COVID hit, we were very much still up and running. Obviously, our focus shifted in terms of how we best cater to our community who are going through all the different challenges of COVID, particularly our business community. And again, I suppose with the lack of travel, that really just comes down to further signifying to businesses how important it is to build your networks, whether it's digitally or otherwise, and how important it is to connect with those people and keep front of mind, and not let the fact that you're unable to travel deter you from doing that. So when COVID hit, we really tried to emphasize to our community that you can still meet people, you can still meet new people, you can still forge new relationships, and it's just about learning how best to do that online.
Cool. And I agree, a common theme that's come through even with COVID is there are these amazing people that say might have been quite difficult to connect with previously because you'd have to get their time of day, whereas now they're spending all day just back-to-back Zoom, so it's almost easier to have that connection and to get their time, because it's the Zoom calls, it's quite just the normal thing for them now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, to your point, it kind of what once might have been a bit of a challenge in terms of being a bit more isolated, turned into a bit of an opportunity for businesses to kind of have a more level playing field with everyone else who was also moving to online and having these meetings online. Absolutely.
Yes, great time to be reaching out to people over Skype.
Exactly.
And I just want to mention on that point, similar with Territory 3 Kiwi Landing Pad, and obviously Kiwi Landing Pad used to be a physical base in San Fran. I believe we do still have that co-working space there, which obviously is just not being used at the moment because we can't get over there. I mean, if you were to decide to travel to San Fran in the next wee while, do just give us a bell. I believe we can still offer that space up for use. But I guess that's the impact of COVID on Kiwi Landing Pad is can't actually land there.
Presence in the office, but still very much there, just not in the office.
Cool. Okay. I'll just check if I've missed any questions in here. I think I've seen everything.
Not at all.
Cool. Okay. Well, if anyone has any last minute thoughts or questions, chuck them in. Now is the time.
If anything does come up after the webinar, again, super happy for anyone to reach out to me directly via email. We can always set up a time to chat about your business, and the scope for Kea to Connect.
Cool. Here's a question. What is Territory 3 and how is it linked to Kea? I guess that's one for me. So I'm part of Territory 3. So Territory 3 is it's a rebrand of Kiwi Landing Pad. So Kiwi Landing Pad has been around about 10 plus years, initially set up by John Holt and then championed by Sian Simpson, who you might have seen over the past few years. She ran these awesome sales and marketing jams around the country. So a lot of people are familiar with Kale through those. So Territory 3, so we're a non-profit organisation helping support Kiwi founders who are looking to go global. And our key focus is on founders themselves. Generally, those are the people that we engage with. So founders, but also founders who are making movements. So we want to work with you if you are someone who is actually getting out, growing, and working path to global growth. So that's kind of like our target of who we work with. Obviously, we do sometimes run wider community events, and we also run these weekly webinars, which is a great way for anyone in the startup community to tune in and to learn and hear cool founder stories. And like today, learning how to engage with Kea Connect, which is awesome. It's another provider of support in our ecosystem. So how's it linked to Kea? At that stage, I mean, I guess we're both backed by, like mentioned, Stephen Tyndall, NZTE. So we're both non-profit organisations. So we're connected just by a good working relationship, hopefully. So that's the way that we're connected right now, is just that we will help each other with our connections. And for example, today's webinar is us at T3 introducing Kea Connect as another partner that you can engage with and help grow your business. So I'd say that's how we connected.
Yep, perfect.
Why rebrand to T3? Well, there's a bit of a backstory to that, which I believe we had written up in one of our newsletters a while back. Essentially, it is kind of just the transition throughout the years of the way that our organisation has changed. So as mentioned, initially physical working space in San Fran, then it became more, when Shan joined, it became more about nurturing a global community. So she was traveling all around the world, meeting some great founders and helping them with their connections and connecting them with other. Territory 3, now I guess we're in a new territory. We've got COVID, we've got no international travel. Well, you can, but you just might not be able to get back in when you want to. And our organisation has changed to be, and it's still constantly kind of, constantly changing in the sense of, as any startup or business, it's all about seeing what your customers need and want. And so at the moment, we are working on a lot of just community engagement and connecting founders with each other as well, as we've found that there's a whole lot of value for that. Say, there might be someone working in the street from you who's also a founder who is going through the same problems that you might be going through, and they can help you out, and there's massive value to that. So that's one of our main focuses at the moment, is connecting founders together and building the community of founders themselves, and being a bit more selective with that, where it's not quite so wider community, the classic wider community kind of thing, but it's more focus group of the founders that are growing. So that's probably our main focus at the moment, as well as the webinars weekly. We've got a cool lineup for the rest of the year already set in, and those will be going out on LinkedIn. And I just saw there were some people in here from Queenstown. We're actually planning a Queenstown trip, John Holt and I, next week, and we'll be looking to do a community event on the Wednesday, and I should be getting comms out for that later today. So keep an eye out on that on our LinkedIn channel. And we'll also do some office hours. So if you want to book a time to chat with me and John, see how Territory 3 can help you, then keep an eye on our LinkedIn as well for that link that I'll be posting up later on. Events in Christchurch, so we were in Christchurch just the other week, but that was more of just a small event. We will be back in Christchurch, I believe, in 2 to 3 weeks. So we're looking to increase the frequency of getting around the country. So definitely in a couple of weeks, and again, we will chuck that up on the LinkedIn and probably the monthly newsletter that will go out on the 30th of this month. So yeah, definitely we'll have an event coming up. A question, does Kea only connect with founders, or do you connect with anyone in the business?
Yeah, anyone in the business. I mean, we very frequently do get founders reaching out to us. So it is very often that we will be working with the founders of the business. But yeah, we definitely will take requests from, CEOs or, whatever it might be. Anyone who's, I suppose, responsible for helping the business grow overseas in whatever capacity that might be. Yeah, we work with those people as well.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, and I guess that's another kind of point of difference between Kea and T3 is we just with the founders.
Yeah,
a bit of a difference there. Cool. Okay. I don't see any more questions in the chat or anywhere. Cool. Awesome. Well, I guess we might just wrap up then. And yeah, if you want to engage with Kea Connect, check out the website or Shivana's email in the chat. Now, I believe the chat will disappear once we exit this, so do quickly copy paste that or take a photo. Otherwise, we will be uploading this webinar a couple of hours once it's finished processing. So this webinar will be made available publicly on Territory 3 YouTube channel and also on our website, territory3.community/academy. And so that will be up there as well soon if you want to watch or share it around with anyone who might be interested in learning more about Kea Connects. But otherwise, big thanks to Shivana for coming on and chatting with us today. We hope you'll gain value and insight into Kea Connect, and do tune into our upcoming webinars and get in touch if you want to engage with either T3 or Kea Connect.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, and again, anyone on the call, please do feel free to reach out direct. We also do, provide a lot of curated content and events for our community, which we keep our community updated via newsletters and things like that. So do make sure to sign up to our comms and our newsletters to keep abreast all the things that are going on at Kea. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was so great to talk to you all. And yeah, I hope to connect with a few on the call after this.
Awesome. Thanks so much, everyone. Catch you on the next one.
Thank you so much. Bye.